Greetings, booktubers, and welcome back to Grammaticus Books, where today we are talking about the third installment in Josiah Bancroft's tetralogy, The Books of Babel, and that is the Hod King. And by the end of this video, we're going to answer the question, is this book here, the Hod King, is it every bit as good as the first two books in the series, Senlin Ascends and Arm of the Sphinx? Is Josiah Bancroft able to hit 3 home runs in a row, or does he step up to the plate with this third book here and take a swing and a miss? And we will answer that question by the end of the video. So a little bit about the book itself. The book was published in 2019. Senlin Ascends, I believe, was in 2017. I'll check that. I think it was 2017. If I'm wrong, I'll put it up over here. But this is published in 2019. It clocks in at 607 pages, so it is one of the lengthier books in the tetralogy. But is it good? Well, before I go into it, I'm going to have to give you guys a little bit of a background on both Senlin Ascends and Arm of the Sphinx to get you up to speed, particularly if you're not familiar with these books, with this tetralogy. I did do complete videos on both of those two books previously. I will link those videos in the description down below. Highly encourage you to go check out those videos first and then come back and check out this one. But Senlin Ascends, setting the stage. Senlin Ascends is where we are introduced to our protagonist, Thomas Senlin, who is a mild-mannered school headmaster who has come to the Tower of Babel with his newly wedded wife on his honeymoon to explore the tower. And the tower is this massive structure that just goes up into the clouds of this fantasy Earth, this alternate Earth that Josiah Bancroft has created. And as soon as he gets there, at the outskirts of the tower, he loses his wife, who he thinks has gone into the tower ahead of him. And now he has to go in. He sneaks in at the basement level. And Senlin Ascends is about him working his way up through the tower, trying to discover what has happened to his missing wife. And as he goes up, he has to transform from this mild-mannered schoolmaster of elementary school kids to become a man of action and develop his character and his personality out of this sort of ineffectual being, this ineffectual man who shows up at the tower at the start of the book. And that's Senlin Ascends. The Arm of the Sphinx picks up where Thomas Senlin and a cast of characters that he's assembled about him during the first novel, they have hijacked one of the airships that facilitates trade in and out of the tower with the rest of this alternate Earth. And they have become air pirates in and around the Tower of Babel. And you essentially get this Edgar Rice Burroughs style air pirates, battles of Barsoom novel going on here, but within Josiah Bancroft's own world. And Josiah Bancroft makes it his own. It's not an imitation of Edgar Rice Burroughs by any stretch of the imagination. I don't want to give you that impression. But it sort of reminded me a little bit about that. But it's absolutely wonderful. I gave that novel a straight 10 out of 10 as one of the most perfect fantasy novels that I've read in a long time. Absolutely love that book to death. But at the end of The Arm of the Sphinx, their ship, the Stone Cloud, has taken severe damage in a battle, and they are forced to seek the help of the Sphinx, this semi-mythical person who has been running the tower and keeping things going and keeping order within the tower for as long as people can remember. And they are forced at the end of the book to meet with the Sphinx, this mythical figure, and request the Sphinx's help in Thomas Senlin's quest to find his wife. So the third book, The Hod King, picks up with the Sphinx, and they have requested the help of the Sphinx. And the Sphinx grants that help, but it comes with a price. So the Sphinx agrees to help, but the Sphinx sends Thomas Senlin back to the kingdom of Pelphia, one of the high society kingdoms within the tower, one of the high society ringdoms, as they're called, in order to find out what is happening to the Sphinx's mechanical moths, which are the Sphinx's intelligence gathering apparati that she sends down into the ringdoms in order to gather intelligence. But all of the moths from the ringdom of Pelphia are not returning to the Sphinx. So she needs to find out what is happening to them, and she thinks that rebellion is afoot. So she sends Thomas Senlin there under a pseudonym in order to discover what is happening there and if there is indeed a rebellion that is brewing within the Tower of Babel. While at the same time, she promotes Edith, his first mate, to the captain of her own ship, the State of the Art, which is, as the name would imply, the most advanced airship within the Tower of Babel, or on this planet, this alternate Earth that Bancroft has created, and sends her and the rest of their characters and team that Thomas Senlin put together back to the kingdom of Pelphia, also to that ringdom, but as emissaries of the Sphinx, in order to request that they return one of these paintings that have been distributed throughout the tower. And these paintings are the key to the Tower of Babel. And it's a bit of a mystery, and I don't want to give away too much there. But the state of the art with Edith at its head is sent to the Kingdom of Pelphia in order to demand this painting. And so the novel at this point splits into two, with Thomas Senlin on his own and the adventures and interactions of the crew of the State of the Art with the lords and nobles of Pelphia. And Pelphia is one of the high society ringdoms here in the tower, but it has a very dark and a very seedy underbelly. And I'm going to show you a map here of the ringdoms so you can just sort of get an idea. Here's the Tower of Babel with the lower ringdoms, and there you can see Pelphia in there. And it's at this point in the book where it becomes a little bit different from the first two books, in that the majority of this book takes place within a single ringdom, that ringdom of Pelphia. And you just get to go into it in a great amount of depth, this entire society of this nobility, but with the seedy underbelly that is holding the whole ringdom together, as well as the entire tower, of the system of slavery with these Hods, which is what they're called, and they're basically the slaves. And you have the Hod King, which is the title of the book, who is deeply involved in these Hods that are making everything work. If you know the movie Fight Club, where you've got the people who are participating in the Fight Club are all those same service workers that make the U.S. society go behind the scenes. They're sort of the invisible workers that make everything work. That's kind of similar to the Hod King and the Hods here within this book, the Hod King, the third one in the series. So during this book, it goes into this kingdom in great detail, and you just get this great exploration of one of the ringdoms of the Tower of Babel, and it's fantastic. There's wonderful machinery and buildings to explore that Josiah Bancroft goes into a great depth. There's the Colosseum, there's the mechanical sun that goes across the roof of the Kingdom of Pelphia each day, marking time and brightening up the inside of this ringdom. There's all types of high society antics that are going on at the same time, while you also have all of these Hods that are the invisible people who are underneath everything. And there's this tension that is created and runs through the book between the nobility and the everyday people in the Kingdom of Pelphia and this class of slavery that is supporting it. And it's wonderfully done. At the end of this novel, or should say during this novel, Thomas Senlin himself, he finds his feet placed upon the black trail. And the black trail is basically the piping and the plumbing that goes behind the scenes in between these massive ringdom levels that makes everything work. And he has set his feet upon the black trail, and you get quite a bit of Thomas Senlin traversing the black trail as he works his way towards the Hod King, trying to find the Hod King. But while Senlin's in the Kingdom of Pelphia, he has a dilemma, because his wife Maria, who he's been searching for this entire time, is there, and she's part of the nobility in the Kingdom of Pelphia, and she appears to be having a grand old time. But he has been forbidden by the Sphinx with interacting with his wife because he's on this mission with the Sphinx. And so you get that tension, that conflict there between Senlin and his goal, and the Sphinx and the nobility and his wife, who's just tauntingly, agonizingly close and finally within his reach. And it is very well done. The book, it just continues the excellence. The character development continues to go. You continue to have all these just super interesting subplots. The prose is fantastic. The dialogue is fantastic. It's absolutely wonderful. So as you can see, the answer to the question is he able to hit a third home run here with this book? And absolutely, he knocks it out of the park again. If I was going to have a minor complaint with this third book here, it's that it's a bit long. The travels of Thomas Senlin down the Black Trail, I thought, stretched out a little bit too long. But other than that, this is just another fantastic novel here in this epic fantasy series that Josiah Bancroft has going on. It is the best epic fantasy that I've read since the Amber Chronicles by Roger Zelazny. I would put that right up here with the Amber Chronicles. Very different in tone and mood than the Amber Chronicles, but in terms of the enjoyment factor, pardon me while I put this back. I have a tendency to knock things over during my videos. It's very different in tone and mood than the Amber Chronicles, but in terms of its engagement, in terms of just being a page turner that just sucks you in and doesn't let you out, I put it right up there with the Amber Chronicles. I absolutely loved it to death. It's an excellent, excellent book. I highly recommend it. If you have not read Senlin Ascends or dipped your toe into these waters, go down to your local library, check it out from your local library. I guarantee your library is going to have a copy of Senlin Ascends, and see if you like it. If you like epic fantasy, I can virtually guarantee that this book, just like the Tower of Babel, within this alternate earth that Josiah Bancroft has created, will suck you in and not let you out, just like the tower inside of these books. It is a wonderful, wonderful series. So that's it for this one. That wraps up the third book in the series, The Hod King. The last one is The Fall of Babel. In about a week or so, I will do that one, and we'll see if he can hit a grand slam, Josiah Bancroft, with his final book. But with that, I'm going to wrap this one up and say take care, be safe, and I'll catch you guys next time.